In this InDesign tutorial, we're going to talk about adding swatches and gradient swatches to your palette. So I've got the swatch palette open here. It's in the advanced workspace. It's on the right-hand side. If you don't see it, it's going to be under Window, Color, and we're going to work with color, gradients, and swatches, okay? So the swatches here, these are my default swatches. When you have an object selected, right here, for example, what we could do is select it and then assign it a swatch color, and it'll drop it in. If you need to add a new swatch, I would recommend using the menu option on the swatch panel. And then right up here, we can do new color swatch, new gradient swatch, new tint swatch. So we're just going to cover a few basic things here. When I create a new gradient swatch, you should probably know the CMYK value of the swatch that you're trying to create. Okay? Now it's going to default with name with color value. So it basically gives it the CMYK value. If you know what color it is, so this is brand orange, okay? You can actually uncheck that and give it a custom name, and then now it actually creates that particular color. A different way, if you're actually in the color picker and you've selected a particular color, I'm going to go to HSB here and go back to the blue family, click OK. I've got it loaded there. A shortcut is if you just double click here, or not double click, just click the new swatch icon shortcut, it'll actually create it there. It did automatically name it. If I double click the actual name and uncheck, I can then give this a brand blue custom color name. Okay. And I am going to switch from HSB here to CMYK, right? Because this is going to go to print. Okay. So now I've got two custom color swatches here. Okay. I'm going to click off my object here, grab my gradient tool this time. I'm going to double click and that'll open up my gradient tool. You can also go to Window, Color, and Gradient. Okay, so I'm going to select my object here and I'm going to make this a gradient. I'm going to select linear and it's probably going to default to black and white or whatever the last gradient one color that you had. Okay, so these are called color stops. That's where the color starts. Okay, and if you want to change a color, you see I've got it selected. You can barely see a faint outline around it, but you would click to select and activate a color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click my swatch here and drag and drop it right up on top and drop it in place there. Now I missed. It actually created a new stop there. To get rid of a stop, okay, I'm going to select it and drag it down off of the gradient palette. Now I select my brochure blue or my brand blue, drag it back to the end. I'm going to select the other one and I'm going to drag my orange one right up on top of that. Okay, and there is my orange one. What we want to do next is move the center point. So I want it to be much more blue, so I can move the center point there. And if I want to add a third gradient, I just click in the middle, it creates a new swatch there, and then you got it. You can just drop in a brand new color there. If you make a mistake and drop and miss it, you just drag it off, adjust, and you can see we've got two adjustments now. Okay, so we've got this great gradient swatch here now. What we can do is go to our swatch palette, click add, and it created a new gradient swatch. Double click, and this is our brand gradient, okay, or whatever you want to name it. And now that particular gradient is actually saved with your file. So that's how you're going to create new swatches, save it so you can reuse it throughout, and actually create your gradient swatches as well.